get the opportunity to work on that, but it looks like it's fallen through. I think our own provincial Ministry of Environment people are not ready for us yet. They don't want to put money there. They don't feel secure enough. I do. I have no problem at all with it, but they don't. So we're out. However, my neighbor, he and I are neighbors. We got to know one another. We share a roadway and so on. We see each other now and then. He's got a 200 head herd, and he has got a young family, 3 little girls. Just a lovely young guy. He's got 200 head, and he went organic. He went organic with that farm, and that's not for the faint of heart. His dad comes and has a special little thing, and he weeds in between the corn rows with that little tractor. And they work hard. It's hard work. He now is adapted into the supplements for dairy cattle. And we are excited about that. This is a miracle. It's wonderful. And I helped it start that way because I gave him a sample. He gave it to his calves, and a few days later he came to me and he was all surprised and shocked. He said, "Dave, my calves have no more scours." He couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it. You know, his calves were like healthy little babies all of a sudden, just overnight. And so that kind of switched him, and now we got him going. And it's just a wonder for this municipality where we're considered as where farming comes first. That's sort of their little logo. And it'll just be a positive thing. So we got some good stuff happening in that way. And I'm just going to leave it there for now. Hope I didn't take too much time. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. No, this is open forum. This is our time this morning. Everyone here is here to share. So I'm really excited about what you're saying. Also, just to put that kind of in perspective, you mentioned you guys are a municipality. How large is the municipality? And please say the name and your organization for those people that hear us but don't know much about it.
My name is David Derbowka. My company is called PRSI.ca. You can find it on the web. It's actually Passive Remediation Systems Limited. But we had to have PRSI as the screen name for the internet. We are living, I lease a farm where I grow clonal cuttings that I intimated to you I'd be cutting. It's all irrigated with municipal effluent. It's in our area here exactly is called South Spalmsheen. We adjoin the north side of Swan Lake, just a beautiful little lake. I call it the Jewel of Vernon. I got a chance to skate on it this year. There's a heronry nearby it. It's a stunning piece of country where we are here. The population of our municipality or township, which has the city of Armstrong right in the center of it, we call that the hole of the donut. I said that. Has a population of over 5,000. Okay? You're muted
Yes,
again.
yes. I was bringing something up on my screen. That's now your population of 5,000. Let me bring to your attention. I mentioned earlier that it is Caring for Climate is one of the projects that the United Nations has initiated. And let me give a little bit more background as Princess Chepe from South Africa joins us. Even though there were a change at the head of the United Nations itself over the span of time from 2000 to 2015, there was a change of leadership at the top. And as you know, we've had multiple changes of presidents here in the United States and in other places around the world. But one of the, I think, exciting things is that George Kell was the first CEO of the United Nations Global Compact in 2000 when it launched on July the 26th. And he was able to maintain a continuous leadership role throughout the entire 15 years. So the United Nations Global Compact created not only the Caring for Climate initiative, but they also created other initiatives. Oh, let me share my screen here. That might be helpful. And Lloyd, I do want to let you know that I'm going to change this title at the top. You did mention that you had a bit of concern about the word activist in Canada. Although the idea, oh, let me see if I can get to the right place here. Let me stop share. The idea is for us to empower each of the participants. Oh, Angela's here. Each of our participants in whatever area that they're working in. Angela, for example, is a foodie activist. But I did put together a booklet here, and I may need to stop. No, just a moment here. I did put together a booklet. Hi, Angela. I did put together a booklet describing some of the major programs that we've been following. And the challenge I have here is that it's on my screen, and I'm not sure if you can see it or not. So let me reduce everything here. And
yeah, we see it.
Okay. Do you see the Ayakba with Lloyd Helverty?
Yep. Picture.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, great. Because you can see it and I can't. But let's see how I can work this out.
Yeah, we can see it.
Oh, great. Aubrey, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You guys can see it, but I can't. Let's see if I can adjust myself. Oh, because I don't have my monitor turned on. That's probably
It's very clear.
Okay, now I can.
And Lloyd,
Okay.
you look good in there.
Yeah, so Lloyd, I adapted this a little bit. So we have Canada, Turtle Island, Francophonie, and Commonwealth of Nations communities. But this was each of the ambassadors or activists would have a chance to be the first page of the publication I put together. That gives you a little bit more information. First, about the overall activity we're trying to accomplish is to create partnerships for the goals. I mentioned to you earlier that the Sustainable Development Goals are kind of like the second iteration of the Millennium Development Goals. They had 8 goals that they identified, the last being global partnerships. So when they made the transition, the last goal here is global partnerships. So we're kind of continuing in that role of building partnerships. And so the greater effort, as you see here, is needed to align development cooperation with country-defined priorities and results, particularly in fragile countries. What we've done is we've personalized that. Rather than have a focus on countries, we're bringing it down to the local community. So, David, I'm so glad that your municipality of 5,000 to me is an entity that we can work with, and there is a cities program. That's what I want to show you here in just a moment. In this booklet, it includes a description of what initially got Lloyd involved. This was an interfaith neighborhood and business invitation, and the idea was for them to join the Global Compact and localize its sustainable development goals. And I'll make this available for you publicly. It describes the 10 principles of the United Nations Global Compact, so that if someone's coming in that has no idea, at least this will give them a backgrounder. As I said, there's an initial online registration. It takes maybe 5 minutes, but your organization has to be organized or recognized in your own country. For example, if you're a nonprofit, you need to be registered as such and have an ID number. And what we've done is we modified this commitment letter, and we added just one line here. Everything else is kind of a standard template, and the change that we added was right here. On the actual template itself, it just stops with the word commitment. I'll read this out. With this commitment, we express our intent to support the Global Compact, advancing these principles, and we'll make a clear statement of this commitment. Now, this is the part that we added. By working through royal, tribal, indigenous, interfaith, neighborhood, and business collaboratives to build safe and sustainable and climate smart communities and cities. These address SDGs number 11, 13, and 17 in collaboration with the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors, Advocates, and Activists, us. So the idea is that if we achieve our objective of getting 10,000 new members to join, all of them having this one line, this begins to show that we have a purpose of unity, that we work together. But this is just the first step. We're not intending to just be able to say, oh, we have more people joining. The idea is to empower us all to be able then to collaborate together, so that what we can do is we can actually empower and mobilize our collective group and keep in communication on a regular basis. That's what part of the online webinar like this will do. If we're able to keep our attention on a weekly schedule as we go out and report that, then we do meet the requirement of the United Nations Global Compact. Every 2 years, nonprofits and non-business participants have to submit what's called a communication on engagement. Unfortunately, many organizations, they don't comply with that, either because they haven't made the commitment or they just don't keep the records. So the idea is that the 10,000 of us would all be able to keep a record as we go on, so that would help us comply with the United Nations Global Compact. But the idea is that we would be able, if we so choose, to identify the key key sustainable development goals that we impact. For example, with Richard Nelson, then the focus on food, that's sustainable development goal number 2. But of course, that has an impact on sustainable development goal number 1, no more poverty, and sustainable development goal number 3, which is good health and well-being. So the idea is that we will create a growing, powerful network as we go forward. This cities program, David, is what I wanted to bring to your attention. It's a framework for translating the Global Compact 10 principles into day-to-day urban governance and management. The Global Cities Program is the urban component of the United Nations Global Compact, the world's largest corporate social responsibility initiatives. The United Nations Global Compact recognizes that cities in particular have the potential to make enormous strides in creating sustainable societies where economic, ecological, political, and cultural issues are integrated and advanced. I think I can make myself be able to do this a little easier if I make this change, so I can read it as I go. And we have additional people coming in, so hold on just one moment here. Yes, okay. Okay, now, let me let in Terrence Mayfield. Okay. Yeah, so this Global Compact Cities Framework, David, works for you as well, because even though you have 5,000 residents in your community, you do qualify. So the United Nations Global Compact recognizes that cities in particular have the potential to make enormous strides in creating sustainable societies where economic, ecological, political, and cultural issues are integrated and advanced. To that end, the Global Compact Cities Program is dedicated to the promotion and adoption of the Global Compact's 10 UN principles by cities, and provides a framework for translating the principles into day-to-day urban governance and management. In the spirit of the United Nations Global Compact, the Cities Program focuses on collaboration between all levels of government, business, and civil society to enhance sustainability, resilience, diversity, and adaptation within cities and in the face of complex urban challenges. The Cities Program supports a holistic approach to sustainability that considers, plans for, and measures impacts across 4 social domains: the economic, ecological, political, and cultural. Administered by the International Secretariat based at the Global Cities Institute at RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia, the Global Compact Cities Program provides support, guidance, and recognitions to participating cities. The Cities Program offers 3 levels of engagement: signatory, leader, and innovating. Whilst all city and region participants are Global Compact signatories, the subsequent levels recognize and foster sustainable leaderships, where city leaders implementing the 10 principles in the administration, planning, and development of their city or region in partnership with leaders in their other sections. All cities and regions may choose to participate at the leader and innovating levels in the same period of becoming a Global Compact participant or at a later date. So again, I'll put the link to this particular section in the chat. But the second page of this includes the link itself, the city's program. The idea, David, is that even if you're a small municipality, can actually use the model that you already have demonstrated as their demonstration of commitment to the city's program. So, David, I hope you can imagine that, you know, your own individual efforts and those of your neighbors, if you were able to get your local municipal government involved, your mayor particularly, to agree to just, again, at no cost, sign up for the city's program, then just the publicity alone about this would get more wider exposure for what you're doing. And it would, of course, advance our intent to get more organizations to join the United Nations Global Compact. We'll talk about that strategy in a little bit, going a little bit further. And when Lloyd is able to unmute himself, he can as well. I'm going to stop sharing here now.
Andrew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I feel
Yes,
that, well, I don't know why you guys keep talking about those policies. What is the main problem? We need to nail down the main problem, main issues. We work on the main issues. Otherwise, we're just going around in a circle. You see what I mean? I'm very straightforward. Sorry, I have to be like that. Otherwise, nothing can be done. You know?
Yes, I certainly agree with
Yeah,
you.
I just totally get lost when you talk about those things. You know?
Seems like Angela wants to jump in too. So
Yeah.
Yes, please. Let's unmute
Angela,
ourselves.
let Angela, your English is better than me. You know, not my English.
Aubrey's getting dizzy.
Yeah.
I love what you're suggesting, Andrew. And it's really funny because I was on another call. I am a consultant on behalf of Oceanic Global, and I actually wanted to get the founder of that on this call, but she didn't see the message or whatever. But basically, what they do is they organize consultants and stuff all over the world, and then we all kind of attack different industries. And so she's really aligned because she's already got kind of the parameters of like how to do the hospitality industry or like the film industry and stuff like that. But they're creating a database of how to do data collection so we can see the actual impact that we're doing in like a quarterly basis. And I don't know why, but this kind of reminds me of that. And I feel that if we like got both of these together and then like approached the governments like that, we could have some really massive change. So anyways, I'm just really excited and want to share that with you guys. That's all. And hello. I got stuck in traffic in the rain.
Well, look, since you're here, Angela, please introduce yourself for those people that don't know who you are. And
Okay.
also, again, I am recording this, so please be comfortable with the fact that at some point we'll edit and rebroadcast this for a wider audience. But Angela, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody, and happy Sunday. My name is Angela, and I am a food
Hello,
activist.
Angela.
Hello, I'm a vegan chef and I'm the consultant owner of Kindred Kitchens. And I'm working on kind of a few projects with different people in this group. But my main thing is I'm launching the restaurant evolution right now. And I've already kind of started some of the behind the scenes works, but I really want it to be big. But the main goal is putting immunity on the menu, reducing unnecessary food waste and plastic pollution, and also just helping support local business. So it's a localized system. So none of these conglomerates and stuff are welcome in my system. So it's going to be launching here, the pilot program in Toronto. We already had a very similar campaign. Look, that's me. And we have similar campaigns that I've already spoken to the city about that's comparable to this. It's called Summer and Winterlicious, but this is way bigger and it's got so much potential. And I also want it to be a food show. But I want this to start somewhere. It doesn't have to be Toronto, but it will be Toronto, I'm sure. But I really want to take this all over the world to really provide a model and framework for restaurants to kind of work within local means and support local farmers, and also just, you know, do something good for everybody. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Princess Chepi from South Africa, I know it's getting a bit late there. So if you could please unmute and introduce yourself and the Future Lift Foundation, as well as Naledi and Chepi. We certainly appreciate that. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that day, I had to go quickly because I saw the intimidating picture of Lloyd. He looked so good, and I thought I needed to go and put makeup on. So that's why I disappeared there. I mean, Really, I thought
Fabulous.
Lloyd cannot be taken number one like that. Did you see, Angela? He was so intimidating. I really felt so underdressed. So I had to go get my jacket. I hope it worked.
Oh my God, you look beautiful.
Thank
I feel
you
insecure
very
now.
much.
I'm just wearing a sweater.
Yes, you're good, princess.
So I had to go and so that I looked the part. But thank you very much, Angela. I like that, the responsible consumption.
Yes.
We are all for the vegetarian or however you call it. Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
Hey, telling you, I thought I had the Atlantic Ocean, and yet people, they say the world has become a global village. So everybody is zooming around, finding all these nice pictures. Hey, so yes, Future Lift I founded Future Lift, and I'm the CEO. And basically, this is where we do community upliftment projects. As you can see, the beadwork, the neck piece that I'm wearing, it is part of the art craft that has been made by the rural women or indigenous women of Engotu, which is where I come from our chieftaincy, from our chiefdom. I come from the Royal Batlokwa Nation, which is in the whole of South Africa and the whole of SADC. But most importantly, it is about taking responsibility. The title is not the title unless you can show who are you serving, unless you can show what difference are you making. So that's what I appreciate about this team. I had missed you all. It's been some weeks since I've been not seeing you. So it's lovely to see all these faces and to lighten up my Sunday. And really, and thank you for the progress that has been made. Thank you for the work that you keep on doing day in, day night. We know that we are all working together, leaving nobody behind. In this decade, we want to make a difference. The Agenda 2030, the Agenda 2063, it is for all of us. Remember the sustainable goal number 17, my favorite. Amandla to everybody. Amandla, it means there's power in our unity and the collective power. That's what we talk about. Thank you very much, Ambassador Andrew.
No.
Well, yes, you're very welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. Richard Nelson, thanks so much for joining us. You were among the first to join. So please introduce yourself. And Aubrey, please take maybe 2 minutes, and then we'll get around to the next part of it. And so again, thank you so much for joining us. Just to let you know, we are recording it so that we'll be able to replay it at a future date. And so yes, Richard Nelson, please introduce yourself. Also in the chat, those of you that's able, you can type in your information about your website or your contact information in the chat, so that when it's saved, we'll be able to share it. But Richard, please go right ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I did put my information in the chat, and you can grab that there, my phone number and email. And really happy to connect, with each of you. So yeah, I'm an inventor, Canadian inventor. By the way, we've got quite a few Canadians here. David, you're in the what is it? The
South Central
Okanagan,
Interior BC.
Okanagan,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
and
that's
Aubrey's
my
in
area.
Yeah, Aubrey's in
Wow, David. I finally
I'm
find someone.
In Montreal.
In my
I'm in
region.
Montreal, and
Yes.
Lloyd and Angela are near Toronto.
Yes.
So we've got quite a few Canadians on the call
Good.
today.
You see?
It's wonderful. And,
Only William is not Canadian.
no, we have South
Not
Africa.
yet.
And our prince and our princess aren't Canadian.
Oh,
We have Omar.
But we're all but you all guys are part of the Commonwealth of Nations,
Yes.
which
right.
South Africa is, so is Canada. And
Yeah.
so, yes, technically and we're still joined at the hip because Bermuda is that closest place representing the British and the UK, and we're joined at the hip. So it's a family affair.
Mm-hmm. And
we are
Omari is on the call now. He's near Washington, D.C. So we do have a couple Americans here.
Good
as
afternoon,
well.
everybody.
yeah, Omar here.
Okay, so Aubrey, perhaps you could introduce the PyraPOD, and then we'll get on to introducing Omari. And Lloyd is now able to mute, so we'll
Well,
kick it off with Lloyd.
Today I like to Yeah. Hi, my name's Aubrey. I work with Richard Nelson, basically developing his invention, the solar roof. To apply that to all buildings. Okay, remember, all buildings has to be revolutionized, right? To have to rethink, use your mind, use your logic, use your wisdom to decide what kind of building is better for human being, right? So, but I like to share actually quickly a screen if I can. Can I? Just that image as a Chinese myself, that image from China really shocked me. It shocked Richard Nelson also, and that helped us. How do I do that? Desktop.
You
Okay, sure.
share screen. Yes.
Okay, this one. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this? This is in
Yeah.
Shandong province. It says in North China. But the basically, I checked out. It's a Shandong province. Look at the massive number of greenhouses. Look at this. You understand the need for greenhouses, right? But we all know the traditional greenhouse, have great problem. The main problem is this: when the sun comes up, then it's getting so hot, right? When the sun comes down, it's getting so cold. So, but China is using this kind of greenhouse, because they have to extend the grow time, right? So, with Richard, we are developing all climate greenhouse, all season greenhouse. Okay, so simply using a way to create a double layer cavity and fill the cavity with soap liquid bubbles, okay, bubble foam, okay, so that you get both or many things in one structure. You'll be able to absorb solar thermal energy, and at night you use the bubbles to insulate the whole canopy. Okay, so you don't lose the heat you collect during the day, right? And then when the sun comes up again, then you can continue to collect. So basically, we see that with soap liquid foam, bubble foam, we can create our climate environment that almost totally depend on the solar energy. Okay, so yeah, this is something I'm excited. This is something I see that all countries, all cities, the mayor should make that issue. Don't talk about policy. Hey, every in Canada there's a code, right? There's a policy that by 2030, right, all new buildings, not just greenhouses, all new buildings has to conform to the passive house code. The passive house, the German passive house concept. Very expensive, right? You triple the wall, you triple the window, you triple everything. So it's very expensive. But with our method, it's very cheap, easy, simple way, simply change the single layer to a double layer, create a cavity and use bubble foam to insulate, to capture the solar thermal energy, and to a lot of other things. So yeah, that's my I'm so excited. So that's why I'm against anything else, because this is so critical, right? Without creating an environment, you can do nothing, right? Or you can do something, but what you are doing is limited, right? You depend on the season, right? Depend
Right.
on the sun. Yeah. Sorry, it's long, but I'm so excited.
Well, no worries. It's good to be excited. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
And maybe Omari Byfield could step up next and introduce himself and address these issues. But before I do that, let me say, Angela, I saw in the chat you had an interest in taking this concept to the mayor And I want you and Lloyd and me to work together to get that done. It's not very complicated, and maybe even you, David. It starts with just a letter and asking them to join. But yes, Omari, please take this time to introduce yourself. Omari Byfield, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I'm moving around here, so I'm probably not going to activate my camera for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to make it too long, right? Because we do have. If there are any questions that you have for myself, for Richard, for Aubrey, you can ask. But my name is Omari Byfield. I'm the co-founder and CEO of SolaRoof International. SolaRoof International is the corporate entity that is taking the SolaRoof technology to market. It's a bit more complex, I guess. I don't want to make it too long, but that's sort of what we're doing, right? So SolaRoof International just promotes the SolaRoof technology that Richard Nelson has invented.
So Omari, you do have a project. I think it's a 250,000 build out there in Washington. We have interest in finding out how that's progressing. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you're doing there in Washington.
Sure. So up to this point, the SolaRoof technology, and for those who are not familiar, maybe Andrew, you could share a slide. I'm joining from my phone today, so I'm not on my computer, as I would be sharing a lot more information. Or even Aubrey, if you can pull up some of the PodWorks information.
Okay, I'll see.
And show these, just so that we can get a visual of what this structure looks like. Because when we talk about the SolaRoof technology,
retrofit, our own
how
technology.
SolaRoof technology exists in its form as 6 individual patents, which make up something called a PyraPOD or an agripod, but a pod structure that facilitates lucrative indoor farming. So what we're looking at here are a number of residential pods. This here would be, I guess, PyraPOD 8 or PyraPOD 8. And essentially what we're doing here is we're building that structure. So what you're seeing is what we're going to build out in Maryland. The SolaRoof technology doesn't exist in its most recent form anywhere on Earth. So as we promote this technology, our immediate duty is to build it, make sure that it works, right? So to build it and test it.
Omar, could you speak up just a little bit, please?
Hey, sorry everybody. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I coming in clear?
Yes, thank you. You're much better now.
So right now in Maryland, we're building this structure that you're looking at. This is going to be our proof of concept. So we need to build this structure and test the structure to affirm that it does what we say it can do. Right? That is control the interior environment, use liquid bubbles, right, to facilitate shading, and the other things that we project this structure can do, so that we can revolutionize the indoor growing sector. This is really important for our mission overall, right? So from Aubrey in Canada, Richard being in Canada, myself being here in the States, and for everybody who's been apportioned to Richard Nelson for this time, or for any period of time, right? Building this structure is quintessential. So we are now here in Maryland, raising funds to build this structure. We're building out a site. So it's going to be sort of an R&D site, the research being in the structure itself, and testing it once we build it. The development would be how we build on top of the structure, as we grow. So initially, the materials that we're using to build this structure are probably not going to be what we go with when we go to market, but we're going to learn on the job as we're building. So we are raising funds, right? We're raising funds in a combination of debt and equity. we are currently issuing $1,000 convertible notes to transfer into an equity stake in something called a BityPOD, which is our largest commercial structure for this project. And for everybody who's on this call, information will be sent to you all in reference to that. But we're raising money, right? We're in fundraising mode. That's sort of where our attention has been. Certainly for myself and the team we have in Maryland, just sort of collectively raising money for this site is again quintessential to our success in solar.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Amari. Yeah, if you put your information in the chat there, I don't know if you're able to do that by your phone if you like, for there to be a follow-up. But for those that are here, I think I have all of your emails, David. Yeah, I have all your emails. So I'll send out this information to all the people participating, Amari.
Sure. I'm oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm sending my information now. Let's see. I thought I could.
I think what Aubrey is showing is available at the PyraPOD.com website.
Yeah.
Which right now is looking at historical projects. So these go back to the 80s when I started my R&D.
Yeah.
Aubrey, maybe you could just jump forward along there. Okay, this is the Research Center, 1985.
Yeah.
So we received a lot of funding from the government of Canada, federal and provincial here in Montreal. Built several prototypes. We built one largest facility in Calgary, near Calgary in Alberta.
Yeah, Calgary, that one.
1985. This is a backyard one.
Yeah.
Keep jumping ahead.
Yeah, Calgary one here.
In Montreal. This is in Fairfield, Iowa. This one.
Yeah.
There's bubbles in the wall flowing. There's bubbles in the roof and filling and control panels.
Yeah. Where's
this is Iowa? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Back. This is DIY near Ottawa.
Yeah.
Oh, you jumped around a bit. Yeah, this
sorry.
one is.
And, go ahead.
And then then there's the one up in.
This is in Ontario. Yeah, the couple.
It's in Ontario. Yeah, and then after that, I was out, as I say, to Alberta, built a project there. That was the largest one in Alberta, 12,000 square feet, 1996.
Alberta.
This is in 2003 in South Korea.
That's Korea.
Yeah, Korea. So I've been all over the world with the technology.
This
more
is
recently,
England.
England.
Yeah, Harvey.
This game is a DIY project in England. Harvey.
And then I think the next one is the Calgary one. Nate.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very short, so I can miss that.
Yeah, I know. We don't need to see it. It's only a photo, actually.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And that's still England.
Yeah. Well, basically, we're ready to build anywhere in the world, and we do have teams around the world. There's Malaysia.
Yeah.
In Malaysia, and another project that was kind of an arch, an arch kind of structure. It's aluminum framing, and then this one was another larger project
in UK.
In the UK.
Yeah.
And then now in Norway, which is where I was most recently working, the city of Oslo has a project about like this size, 15,000 square feet.
This is in Poland. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is Norway. This is the Norway one.
Yeah, Norway. So it's a very doable technology. The bubbles, what you see is the foam or liquid bubbles, which are very friendly. You'll see a little girl is actually in the cavity, in the wall cavity.
Yeah.
Let's play along there. You'll see she's playing with the bubbles inside the building.
Yeah.
Because it's just soap suds, right?
Yeah.
It's
safe and light.
But
and white.
Surprisingly, it's a very high insulation value for this soap suds. So we fill the building cavity space with this blanket of bubbles. You could also think of it like a cloud, kind of artificial cloud. It shades from sunlight. That's myself and my wife and the science guy there, and Geraldine, my wife, and myself there, and there she is again. Inside. So, we've lived around the world doing these kind of projects, and more recently now we're aiming to do cooperative commercialization. So we're establishing an international cooperative organization. It's headquartered in Iceland, and people can, just join as it is a, cooperative. And then we have technology sharing and generate, we will hope to see a lot of, like localization of food, because as Aubrey said, it's the energy saving makes it possible to grow food everywhere, whether it's a hot climate or very cold climate. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And you see, bubbles are fun. So we're also gonna, this is in Toronto, by the way. Wow, this is out in, I don't know, it's in Brampton, near Mississauga, really out that way. And this is one of the only ones that was off grid with the photovoltaics to operate the system. So overall, quite a few.
Let me ask. Let me ask you, since we have Princess Sheppy on the line, she's from South Africa. As you may or may not know, after the transition from apartheid, right? Of course, the government tried to retain control of the economics of the country, but the resulting indigenous people were left with land. So they do have land there available. And my question to you, Richard, is how adaptable this might be for a climate like South Africa?
Well, extremely. Yeah, it's adaptable everywhere in the world. It costs very little to operate. It produces wealth, produces excellent food. We're teaching, the aquaponic, which is the, fish plus plants. And energy systems like using algae to create oil, and all the biomass that we create, we can generate biogas, which is clean energy. And then of course Gregory Walker, has his technology for human waste, and so it's all biotechnology. All of it. It's very produces wealth with very little cost inputs.
Well, I want to follow up with you after this to connect you with Princess Sheppy and find out how ways we can move forward with that, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
But again, it's kind of late there for her. So I'm going to turn this back over to Lloyd. And Lloyd, thank you so much for inspiring us to come together like this. So I do want to turn it over to you, Lloyd. And one of the things we're talking about is a bubble festival. And that's kind of part of the reason I wanted to kind of bring this team together to see how we can bring fun into the atmosphere. So Lloyd, could you unmute and tell us a little, first introduce yourself, of course, and tell us a little bit about.
I can share the screen while you talk, Lloyd.
Of course.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Aubrey. I'd love to see those images all the time. I've been watching your videos every time you post one. Of course, we have PodNet GTA. So I, as the founder and chairperson of Drawdown Markham, we have our small drawdown group here, inspired by Drawdown Toronto, sort of as the epicenter of these conversations around how do we actually reverse climate change. So we created a local group. We are volunteers here. We're not unable at this point, of course, to register under the UN Global Compact system as an organization, because we aren't at this point registered nonprofit, which is one of those requirements. But I was glad to see David Derbowka finally see these bubble buildings, and I'm hoping that Dave we'll come together with Aubrey. They're in the same valley.
Yeah.
Or the same area of the Okanagan, I think, not too far from each other. And maybe David can someday have his own little demonstration for his council of one of these bubble buildings.
Yeah.
The PyraPOD buildings, so he can show his community what the heck this is all about, and move it forward there. So actually, this is part of what I'm refocusing myself recently after having conversations with Andrew and our colleague in Bermuda, Corin, and several others, of course, here in the Greater Toronto area. Is that I'd like to refocus back on what we call the unity pandemic, or the global unity pandemic, and the programs we've been running through Drawdown Markham for the past while. So planting the trees of peace and reconciliation. We did the Sunlight Spectacle event last year. We're planning another one on June 10th. And then we'd like to do at least one Bubble Fun Festival here in the Greater Toronto area this summer. Whether it's June, July, or August, more likely near the end of the season. We're now in discussions with the Secretariat of the Global Unity Pandemic or Greater Unity Pandemic team that we put together last year for our event, for the Sunlight Spectacle event, which we did in 2020 down in St. Jamestown, Toronto. So now we have our second event that we're planning for this summer, June 10th, in conjunction with a solar eclipse that will start right here in Ontario, visible from Toronto as a partial eclipse. Last year it was an eclipse that started in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and crossed over much of Southern Asia, including the Middle East and India, all the way to China. So we were trying to involve everybody in that discussion, especially around how do we transform our communities, how do we transform our cities, and implement the Sustainable Development Goals kind of one community at a time, one village at a time, one building at a time, really. In the same vein that SolaRoof and PyraPOD is trying to transform our world, one building, one community, one city, one neighborhood at a time. And so this is the idea that what we want to do is plant these trees of peace and reconciliation to bring attention to ourselves in our community. Have these Sunlight Spectacle events, which are online entertainment events as well, and then bring out communities to these trees, to the forests that we build around the trees, and promote the regenerative community concept. And so here in Markham, what we want to do is actually we're going to be starting a discussion of what we're calling the Bubble Way Project. Essentially, that means what we'd like to do is connect two major infrastructure projects that are happening on both the east end and the west end of the city. So on the east end of the city is the Rouge National Urban Park, which is the largest urban park created a couple of years ago. So they're now constructing part of that through Parks Canada. We're hoping to create a partnership with Parks Canada to actually demonstrate one of these SolaRoof buildings in the national park as possibly as a peace center or education and training center for the public to come out and learn about climate smart food and learn about climate smart infrastructure, this regenerative infrastructure like the SolaRoof bubble technologies. And also the Bubble Way would connect the Rouge National Park with another infrastructure that's on the west side of Markham, up Yonge Street, which was at one point considered the longest street in the world. From downtown Toronto, Lake Ontario, goes north, all the way up basically to North Bay and beyond. But this Yonge Street is actually going to be, they're expanding right now, the subway system. The Toronto Transit System subways is going to be extended up into Richmond Hill. And so the very west end of Markham abuts with Yonge Street. And so the new subway station there, we'd like to connect that subway station, which is going to be, it's literally about 2 kilometers west of me, where I am right here along Highway 7. We'd like to connect that new subway station with the Rouge National Park along what we'd like to call as a bubbleway, where we would like to actually build a bunch of these SolaRoof buildings along that corridor, and actually build within a parcel of land that is actually a hydro corridor or a hydro transmission, electricity transmission corridor. Begin with a pathway to allow people to take their bicycles, for instance, or rollerblade, or even walk, or take a stroll along this corridor. They're doing this. They've been doing this in Toronto for a while, but we'd like to connect the new subway station that's going to be built as they build the subway up Yonge Street with the Rouge National Park by creating a pathway through this hydro corridor, and it's hundreds of meters wide. There's actually the Highway 7 or 407 there, Highway 7 where I live. But this hydro corridor is empty land. The city of Markham, the region of York, has been looking to try to see if they can bury those hydro wires. I don't think it's going to happen, but we may be able to build something in that land where the hydro lines are. They'd like to create something there. I know the city has been talking about it for years. Actually, even one of our municipal councillors ran his election platform on trying to redevelop that land, because it's a huge amount of land. It's probably 8 to 10 kilometers and several hundred meters wide of land that's available there where we can potentially do projects, and that is one of the things that we're going to be trying to have a discussion with our local council about. So that's basically what we're trying to accomplish, along with the so beginning with the Trees of Peace and Reconciliation, building a climate smart victory garden, the CSV forest or the victory forests, and then seeing if we can also demonstrate what we call a climate smart kitchen, and hopefully working with people like Angela as well to demonstrate these concepts, and as we grow the food locally, cooking the food locally as well, in what we call a climate smart way.
Well, Lloyd, can you hear me okay?
That's really all I have to say today.
Well, let me ask you, what are you planning for this bubble festival? What time of the year? Or did you have a date locked down?
We do have a specific date, and that's June 10th, and that is because that is the date for this this solar eclipse, which is going starting in Northern Ontario. It's actually starting at a First Nations community in Northern Ontario. So we'd like to extend the sunlight spectacle. Sorry, this is for the sunlight spectacle. We're probably going to have the bubble festival a little bit later. We're thinking about dates, but we're in discussions now.
We proposed
with
June 21st.
June 21st.
Yeah,
okay, so I'll write that in my date in my book then.
One in winter.
What First Nation? What was the First Nation community here talking?
Yeah.
The First Nation is called Pikangikum. Up in Northern Ontario.
Okay.
So they're actually it's interesting. They're kind of in an area that's called the Ring of Fire area of Northern Ontario. That's actually a very lucrative place for many people in the mining industry who would like to open up that area of Northern Ontario to mining, because there are huge amounts of mineral opportunities in that specific place.
That's not me.
It's very noisy.
Yeah,
we have to mute some.
Yeah. Okay.
So this Pikangikum community is in Northern Ontario. I've actually connected with somebody up there many years ago in my work with biochar Consulting, and the Ontario Biochar Initiative, Biochar Ontario. So I don't have those connections anymore, but there's certainly a conversation we're going to want to have, because they are looking as well to open up those areas of Northern Ontario. And I think they're even planning a road now at this point.
Yeah.
To go up into those areas because of the resources, the underground resources. The mining companies have been looking at that area for many years, because it contains a lot of what they call the rare earth elements in an area called the Ring of Fire. That a lot of these communities, if we can create partnerships with these communities as they develop those areas, we can consider how we can help them to create sustainable communities as the investments get made.
Yeah, the bubble festival can be
create long-term plans with them.
It can be year long, actually. Once people know what it is, right? Once people know how good it is, then they can celebrate, yearly, like any time, right? But just for start.
Well, this is why I'm focusing on what we call this Unity Pandemic program, that planting the trees of peace, doing the sunlight spectacle events, doing the bubble festivals, really raising awareness.
Yes.
And so this is where I see what I'm working with people like Prince Andrew and others to really raise awareness for these things and create a marketing campaign that can be utilized by anybody at the local level. We're raising awareness among families and community members. And making it tactile and real for them to understand.
Good.
Yeah. So, and what we can coordinate with that is that we're going to have kits so that people can make a bubble machine, and be able to make these bubbles like this and have a lot of fun. And we have it's playful learning, right? Because bubbles are fun. It's kind of anybody has to smile when they see this technology, right? Because this technology is so friendly and fun. And it's surprising that it does deliver such wonderful benefits as well. But we get that machine, see those ones hanging there. If you could stop it, actually.
Yeah, sure.
On the machine where you can see them falling. Yeah, go back a little bit.
Here.
Yeah,
it's very hard. Yeah, here.
It's hard to catch it. Yeah, there. Yeah. So you see, what you have here is a scaffolding. Yeah, it's holding the bubble generator, the bubble machine.
Yeah.
Up there, up above, you've got water supply. You've got nozzles. You've got maybe, we don't know if there's a fan unit. There's probably a fan unit.
There should be a fan. Yeah.
They're making a lot of bubbles. So what we want to do is we want something simpler than this. We call it a bubble shower.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's kind of just a structure that we can deliver a kit, and this is the small version.
Yeah.
So this is like bench height.
Yeah, this is bench height.
You can work on. Yeah, you can work on the bubble machine here and get experience with it. Then you put it up on those legs.
This is a bubble. Yeah.
And now the bubbles will fall on you, and so it can be fun like that. And so these are playful learning and exploring the technology. Once you understand the technology, right, which is not difficult. It's not rocket science, right? It's just blowing bubbles. And once you've got that, then you can start to apply it to the buildings, right? To put bubbles into the roof and wall cavity space of the building. So it's a step-by-step, and it's easier because we'll have the equipment, that people can get like a kit, as a kit.
So Richard, my question, Richard and Aubrey, is how soon might we have a bubble box that we could actually demonstrate?
How so? You mean how soon
can we have a bubble box?
Yeah, that's why we designed this bubble box. It's very easy. As you can see, it's just looking at the how looking at this. You see here, only metal bar, going this way, another metal bar going this way, and then two horizontal metal bars, right? And then hold like this. Then you can put a bubble box here, right? And then you can play with it, test to demonstrate how it works, right? So that's why we start with bubble box rather than bubble shower or bubble tower, right? Because this way it's low, relatively low, right? You don't have to reach up, it's and also single layer. You can simply use a single layer fabric to cover it and put the whole thing inside a container, a basin, a square, container, you can make with even 2x4 and then put poly, right? The point is to make it easy for people to make and to demonstrate, right, how bubbles are generated. Here it shows this hole. This is the inlet. This is where you put the fan, right? And the fan blows air into this chamber. It's create a positive pressure. You got two outlets with two openings, and you simply fit the reticulated foam onto this, and hold with something, then so it won't blow up. So and then you blow air into this. You see here's the nozzle, right? The nozzle, two nozzles, right? And spray liquid soap to the screen. So then the air will blow through the screen, create the bubbles. That's how it is. Very simple. It's not rocket science. It's not a black box. It's a white, Yeah.
So Andrew, we actually have a bubble box. This frame, Aubrey's already got it. Fabricated out of flat bar, and we're at this point. Aubrey's working with a team locally in Kelowna. To build a bubble machine. He's already got the nozzles, the screen material. We're going to get the fan unit. So in other words, as we do it, what we're doing is putting it up on YouTube, and we're sharing, the information. And then we're going to have the bubblefun.org website for everyone to be able to get the patterns, right? And be able to build their own unit. It's really easy. But, if people can't build it, then we will be able to ship, a kit. We'll ship a kit. The new design, this whole thing's like an umbrella.
New design
it kind of folds up, so we can, put it in the postal delivery, right? Deliver you a bubble box kit. And once you got that kit, you can put it up on the legs, on the taller column, and then you've got a bubble shower. So you can go step by step.
So the reason I asked Richard is because, here in Los Angeles, Len Crandall, normally they do an Earth Day event here in Los Angeles, around April 22nd. So I was just wondering, do we have a timeline that we may be able to leverage, Earth Hour on March 24th or Earth Day in 22nd, or?
We're meeting all the time. We're collaborating. We're having our, meetings like this, right? And we could meet with anyone in LA and see these drawings. We share the drawing with your team in LA. And just as we are presently fabricating in Kelowna, you can fabricate as well. You can fabricate the same thing.
Yeah. This is the.
So I did want to mention to you. Oops.
Go ahead.
As well, Richard and Aubrey, I guess, but everybody else as well. But here in Markham, so I've been having conversations locally, especially with my colleague Maria. So Maria's has this Seeds of Hope. This is actually her. That's her business. So she's doing gardening programs, I'm trying to get her involved in these discussions. She's not a member of PodNet, but she's wanting to create these vegetable gardens to start with, and this is where we're going to possibly do the Climate Smart Kitchen demonstration programs with her as well. But she's potentially interested in actually hosting the Bubble Fun Festival at one or more of her properties this summer, if possible. She might have a farm that she's going to be leasing either in Niagara region, which would be good because there's a lot of greenhouses down in that area, and then another property out in the Kingston area, so a few hours east of where I am. So she's negotiating with the farm owner right now to actually